Today, we will recap an action thriller movie called Ressurection. This movie tells the story of Arthur Bishop, a former hitman who tries to enjoy a peaceful life after his retirement, but his peaceful life is disrupted when a mobster forces him to return to the world of assassins. So, make sure you watch this video till the end, for a better experience. At the beginning of the movie we are shown Arthur Bishop, a former assassin who is relaxing on his yacht. Now, Bishop is living peacefully after the incident 5 months ago at a gas station, which left him presumed dead. Currently, Bishop himself lives in the city of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and has changed his name to Santos. That day Bishop went to the hills, because there was a restaurant with an exotic view there. While Bishop was enjoying a bottle of drink, a woman who was a courier arrived, and offered Bishop a job to kill 3 fugitives, and it had to look like an accident. Although at first Bishop tried to hide his identity, even claiming that he could not speak English, in the end he could not sigh when the courier revealed Bishop's secret, by showing video evidence that Bishop had engineered his own death. She even threatened, saying that the evidence could reach the authorities if Bishop refused his offer. Bishop then pretended to consider the courier's offer, and when he said he was going to call someone, Bishop quickly took the opportunity to photograph the courier's face, and then started a fight. After that he escaped by jumping from the top of the cable car, and then landed on the umbrella of a skydiving. However, after returning he saw that several people were searching his ship. Without thinking, Bishop immediately blew up his ship. He then reopened the items that had been stored for a long time, showing that he seemed to be returning to the old business. The scene switches to an island located in southern Thailand. Seen there, Bishop meets May, his old friend who is also the manager of the villa in that place. Bishop's arrival was not without purpose, because he came to retrieve his belongings, such as passports, weapons, and laptops, which were used when he was still working as a hitman. The next day, Bishop managed to find information about the courier through the photos he took, and it turned out that the courier worked for one of the arms dealer mafia named Raya Crane. Tomorrow night, May saw a woman named Gina, being physically abused by a man named Frank. And Gina was on a ship not far from May's place. May immediately told Bishop to save her, because she was worried that Gina might die if she experienced continuous violence. Although initially Bishop refused to intervene, he finally agreed after being urged by May. Arriving at the ship, Bishop immediately killed Frank and saved Gina. However, Bishop found a surprising thing, because the woman he had just helped turned out to have a relationship with Crane. Bishop then approached Gina, who was lying in her room, then interrogated her about her involvement with Crane. Once Gina felt pressured and unable to resist, she finally tried to come clean by saying that she was being threatened by Crane, and was ordered to lure Bishop while tracking his whereabouts. Seeing Gina as a victim of Crane's blackmail, Bishop tries to find a way to help her. After a long conversation, Bishop learns that Gina is a humanitarian, and the manager of an orphanage in Cambodia, so Crane easily threatens to do violence to the shelter children if Gina refuses his orders. Bishop then took her to the edge, and asked her to temporarily stay at May's villa. As time went by, Bishop and Gina were involved in love locations, where Gina, who had a high humanitarian spirit, finally made Bishop fall in love. But with the relationship, it did not make Bishop neglect his duties. The next day, they were both approached by Crane's men. It was revealed that Bishop deliberately got Gina and himself caught. Bishop was then taken to Bangkok to meet Crane. He sat on a chair that had been fitted with electric shocks, to ensure that Bishop would not refuse Crane's offer. Here Crane assigns him to kill 3 fugitives, and it must look like an accident. The first is a former warlord named Krill. Now he is being held in the prison of Kedah, Malaysia. The prison is located 70 miles in the middle of the sea, and surrounded by shark-infested waters, so it is very unlikely that prisoners can escape from the prison. However, with the intelligence that Bishop has, he begins to find ways to enter and escape from the prison. He started checking the list of Malaysian fugitives who might have a slightly similar face shape to him. Then by buying some materials, he made a tattoo-like face painting and made a fake passport. Unexpectedly, Bishop managed to outwit the Malaysian police, allowing him to enter the prison easily. Then Bishop studied the situation, as well as listening to some information from other inmates about Krill, who seemed to have several bodyguards protecting him at all times, because Krill was one of the ruthless killers, so not a few families of the victims he killed also had revenge plans to kill Krill in prison. One moment, Bishop succeeds in attracting Krill's attention after preventing the murder of one of the inmates to Krill. As a sign of gratitude, Krill immediately invites Bishop to have dinner together at his place, and without security. Upon entering Krill's private quarters, Bishop pretended to engage Krill in conversation, eventually pinning Krill's neck with a stick until he passed out. Bishop then mixed several addictive substances and then drugged Krill until he died. Bishop then tricked Krill's men by sitting Krill's body as if he was praying. Bishop's first task was complete, where he immediately looked for a place to escape. When the inmates were ordered to gather, Bishop began to take out the explosives he kept in candy wrappers, and installed them in one of the holes in the prison wall, but the action was monitored by CCTV officers, but fortunately, Bishop still had time to escape by jumping into the sea. Not far from the prison, a boat was waiting to pick up Bishop. Once he was on board, Bishop immediately asked to be connected via video call to Gina, to make sure she was okay. Bishop is then given a second assignment to kill Adrian, who is now in Sydney, Australia. Adrian is a mining magnate and the biggest arms dealer in Asia and Australia. After the video call ended, Crane removed the handcuffs on Gina's hands and told her that the watch Gina was wearing was Bishop's favorite item obtained from his father, so Crane concluded that at this time Gina was a very important person for Bishop, and it seemed that Crane could use Bishop to do anything for Gina. In downtown Sydney, Adrian is seen being escorted by his subordinates into the apartment, and preparing to relax his body. On the other hand, Bishop begins to devise a clever plan to get into the apartment. He poses as a prospective buyer who will buy one of Adrian's apartments. Bishop then distracts the salesman by making a call using a private number, and quickly photographs the apartment key that lies on the table for duplication. At the inn, Bishop conducts a series of tests and succeeds in making a material that can break very thick glass. Bishop switches disguises as the building's glass cleaner, and after a series of adrenaline-fueled scenes, he pulls off the stunt seamlessly, leaving Adrian dead in a tragic accident. Bishop is later reconnected with Gina via video call, and Gina's back is turned to the ship's number where she's being held, pretending to show Bishop the clock she says is broken. However, the action is soon stopped by Crane's men. Armed with a screenshot, Bishop then contacted the insurance company and asked to track the position of the ship by mentioning Crane's ship number. After knowing his position, Bishop immediately followed him by helicopter, and slaughtered Crane's men, until finally Bishop was paralyzed by electric shock. When he realized, Bishop was forced to carry out his next task, which was to kill the third person in Bulgaria. He was named Max Adam. Max Adam is an American arms businessman, and that also makes Adam have a lot of troops and a tight security system. Behind that, Bishop secretly collected information on Crane's relationship with the three people who were targeted. Apparently, they were Crane's business rivals in the arms trade, and Bishop felt he was only being used. After devising a plan, Bishop began to carry out the action by visiting a hospital that had a helicopter, and its position happened to be close to Adam's headquarters. In the main part of the plan, Bishop shot a guard who was on the roof of Adam's house, after which Bishop contacted the hospital to pick up the wounded guard using a helicopter. As the helicopter was about to take off, Bishop quietly entered the luggage room and joined them. Bishop landed at Adam's base smoothly. Then he installed a device capable of destroying the CCTV camera system, and fooled the guards to leave the base. After successfully entering and paralyzing several officers, Bishop infiltrated Adam's private room through the air duct, and Adam only realized it when he was in his private room. However, this time Bishop did not want to kill Adam. Instead, he wanted to invite Adam to work together to destroy Crane. After telling the events of the two people he had killed, and Adam was Crane's last target. Adam welcomed the offer, and they engineered Adam's death as if he was hit by an explosion and fell into the water, while Bishop himself was waiting in the water with an oxygen cylinder, and immediately took Adam into hiding for several days. While Bishop will lure Crane's men to come see Adam's body on the ship. Crane immediately ordered his men to check Adam's corpse, as well as kill Bishop. Meanwhile, Bishop began preparing a trap to welcome Crane's men. When Crane's men arrived, Bishop began to slaughter them one by one with the help of the traps he had set. As soon as he saw his men being killed by Bishop, Crane began to increase his vigilance, because he was sure Bishop would come there. Not long after, Bishop emerged from the water and began attacking Crane's men. Gina, who initially became a bait for Bishop, then fought back, but unfortunately she was shot on the left side of the stomach and splashed into the water. Crane immediately helped Gina and returned to make her a prisoner. After cleaning up Crane's attacking men, Bishop continued to look for Crane, who was holding Gina hostage, but found Gina alone, while Crane himself had activated a time bomb that would destroy the ship in the next 4 minutes. After finding Gina, who was left behind, Bishop then took Gina into the lifeboat, while Crane invited his men to escape using the boat. Bishop continued his action of killing one by one Crane's remaining men, leaving only Crane alone. Then the two of them continued their duel, and when their guns ran out of bullets, Crane attacked Bishop with a chain in a ship's cage, which made him take the brunt of the blow. However, the situation turned around when Bishop managed to catch the chain and wrap it around Crane's body until it was immobile. Laughing, Crane said that Bishop would also not be able to survive the explosion, because he would not be able to swim away before the bomb exploded. Apparently Bishop had thought it all through. He ran to get into a secret room on the ship, and when time was up the bomb exploded, destroying the ship and its contents. In the distance, Gina appeared with her shovel, crying as she looked at the destroyed ship. Gina was then evacuated by officers and received medical attention. Meanwhile, Adam and his men also witnessed the evacuation of the debris removal of the ship that was still intact, and he once thought that Bishop had died. A few days later, Gina reunited with the children at the shelter. She wrote a letter to her best friend, May, about her whereabouts and hoped that May would visit her place. Then suddenly, Gina was surprised by the appearance of Bishop, who stood casually. Meanwhile, Adam, who is at his base, is still not entirely convinced that Bishop is also dead, so he begins to find out about the storage room of the ship's anchor chain, which is reinforced with armor, and allows a person to survive with an air supply inside when submerged in water. He also laughs when he sees the port CCTV footage, which records Bishop's action outside the room, which indicates that Bishop is a very clever person, and that's how the movie ends. What do you think of this movie? Please write your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit the like button, and support our channel by subscribing, so that we stay motivated to create more interesting content for you to enjoy. And see you soon.